The political arena just got a whole lot more chaotic after Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stepped in to shut down some explosive claims being tossed around about Erika Kirk and alleged ties to the Epstein scandal. This isn't just typical political mudslinging. These are accusations that could permanently damage reputations, derail futures, and leave lasting personal consequences. What makes this even more alarming is how quickly social media can turn a rumor into a viral wildfire. With one post or video, names start circulating, narratives take on lives of their own, and people get judged before facts even surface. The situation is a sharp reminder of how fragile truth becomes when misinformation spreads unchecked, especially when it's tied to one of the most disturbing controversies of our time. Let's take a step back and lay out the backdrop for anyone jumping into this story fresh. Jeffrey Epstein, once a powerful and extremely wealthy financier, was exposed for running a massive trafficking operation involving underage girls. He was arrested in 2019, but before he could fully face justice, he died in jail. His longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was later convicted for her role in the operation. Since then, courts have slowly been releasing documents connected to the case, documents that include hundreds of names. Epstein, already a registered sex offender, had been accused by numerous young women of exploitation and abuse. When he was arrested again in 2019, survivors were anticipating their moment to confront him in court. But after his death, the attention shifted to the evidence, and that's when things got complicated. As soon as those files began hitting the public record, the internet erupted. People started combing through every page, creating name lists and pushing accusations at high speed. Suddenly, anyone whose name appeared in a document, regardless of why, was being branded as guilty. And that's the danger. Being mentioned in legal paperwork doesn't automatically equal wrongdoing. This is where Erika Kirk enters the picture, and why Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett felt the need to step in. Posts began circulating online alleging that newly released documents linked Kirk to Epstein's circle. The claims spread fast, thousands of retweets, viral videos, and comment sections full of people acting as if these accusations were carved in stone before diving into the bigger confrontation. It's important to understand this. The release of the Epstein documents has created a digital frenzy where speculation spreads faster than confirmed fact, and reputations can be damaged long before truth has a chance to catch up. Congress has been embroiled in a heated debate over whether to release all FBI files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and it's been anything but smooth. Recently, the House passed a bill demanding the Department of Justice make these documents public, but the process has been messy, with politicians fiercely battling over what should remain under wraps. Democrats accused Republicans of shielding Epstein-connected figures, while Republicans fired back, claiming Democrats had skeletons of their own. Fast forward to Tuesday, November 18th, and the tension boiled over on the House floor. Amid discussions about tariffs, affordability, and broader campaign promises, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stepped up, seemingly ready to deliver a political bombshell. With confidence radiating, she began naming Republicans allegedly linked to donations from Jeffrey Epstein. According to her, records showed contributions to figures like Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, John McCain, Sarah Palin, and Rick Lazio. Crockett boldly declared, "If this is the standard, we'll expose it all." And the Democratic side appeared to taste a potential gotcha moment. But here's where the story takes a sharp twist. Journalist Chuck Ross of the Washington Free Beacon quickly fact-checked the claims, and the results were startling. None of those donations came from the infamous Epstein. Not a single one. Instead, the contributions originated from a completely different Jeffrey Epstein, a New York doctor with no ties to the sex offender. The records were clear. Some donations even occurred in 2020, a full year after Epstein's death in jail. Dead people don't write checks, and yet Crockett's team completely missed this. The irony deepened when you realize why Crockett brought up these supposed donations in the first place. She was defending Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, who was facing censure that same day for a far more direct connection. She had texted with the real Jeffrey Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing. What started as a bold accusation meant to shake the GOP turned into a cautionary tale about checking your facts, especially when trying to make a political point in front of the whole country. The irony here is almost unbelievable. While Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was publicly accusing Republicans of having ties to Jeffrey Epstein, she was simultaneously defending Democrat Stacey Plaskett, who had a far more direct and documented connection to Epstein. Plaskett, representing the U.S. Virgin Islands where Epstein maintained his private island, was exchanging text messages with him during Michael Cohen's congressional testimony, with Epstein even coaching her on which questions to ask and later texting, "Good work." Meanwhile, the Republicans Crockett-fingered had no connection at all, making her accusations a glaring distraction from the real, verified involvement of the person she was defending. The situation is a textbook example of political irony, with deflection and misdirection layered over a scandal that could not be more literal. In a bold move, Jasmine Crockett attempted to shift attention by claiming Republicans had accepted money from Epstein, but she hadn't even confirmed it was the infamous Epstein, and the stunt spectacularly backfired. When she addressed the controversy publicly, she didn't hold back. If anyone has legitimate evidence of criminal ties, it belongs in the hands of law enforcement or responsible journalists, not scattered across Twitter and TikTok hoping it sticks. She reminded everyone that Trump and Epstein had a documented relationship, visible in photos and birthday books, yet the focus was on Stacey Plaskett instead. Crockett emphasized a crucial point. The Epstein case involves real victims who endured unimaginable trauma, and tossing his name around as a political weapon not only trivializes their suffering but also undermines the credibility of genuine survivors. In today's hyper-partisan landscape, she warned, serious allegations are being weaponized, and that misuse does real harm to those telling the truth. In today's political battlefield, it seems all you need to do to destroy someone's reputation is attach their name to Epstein. Evidence optional. That's exactly the climate Crockett was addressing when it came to Erika Kirk, demanding that anyone making these allegations actually produce the primary sources, the court documents, official testimony, or anything beyond potentially doctored screenshots or out-of-context clips. She called out the absurdity of sweeping accusations aimed at figures like Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Reg, John McCain, Sarah Palin, and Rick Lazio, emphasizing that if this is the kind of standard people want to set, they should be prepared for the full scope of exposure. And remember, all FEC filings are publicly accessible for anyone willing to look. But the plot takes an unexpected twist. While Crockett was calling for evidence to debunk wild claims about Erika Kirk, courts were simultaneously unsealing actual Epstein case documents, and these records included hundreds of names. The key detail most people miss is what those names actually represent. In a case of this magnitude, the unsealed documents capture a wide spectrum of individuals: victims seeking justice, witnesses providing testimony, investigators handling the case, business associates with no criminal involvement, attendees at charity events, and yes, a subset of people allegedly tied to criminal activity. Simply appearing in these documents does not automatically imply guilt, yet social media often spins it as if it does. Social media has no patience for nuance. See a name in a court document, and suddenly someone is guilty in the court of public opinion. No trial, no evidence, just instant condemnation. The reality of the Epstein document leaks tells a very different story. When the files began being unsealed in late 2023 into 2024, over 150 people were mentioned across various court filings, but legal experts rushed to caution against jumping to conclusions. Being named does not equal being guilty. Some individuals appeared simply because a victim recalled seeing them at an event, others were mentioned during depositions, and some were actively involved in efforts to stop Epstein's crimes, yet all were swept up in the same documents. And it's worth remembering the meticulous work behind uncovering the entire scandal. Investigative journalist Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald spent months combing through thousands of pages, interviewing dozens of victims, and verifying every detail before publishing her groundbreaking exposé in 2018. That's the power of real investigative journalism. Accountability built on facts, not clicks. Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald, whose series The Perversion of Justice exposed Epstein's crimes, spent months verifying every detail, interviewing victims, and sifting through thousands of documents, exactly the kind of rigor missing from social media, where allegations spread in seconds without a single fact check. Once a claim goes viral, correcting it is nearly impossible, like trying to squeeze toothpaste back into the tube. Jasmine Crockett isn't just a politician tossing out defenses. She's a former civil rights attorney who has built her career defending people falsely accused, so she understands firsthand how devastating unverified claims can be. That's why she insists on transparency, demanding the Epstein files be released for everyone, Democrat, Republican, or Independent, to see the truth. Meanwhile, political operatives on both sides have weaponized Epstein's name, using leaks and social media posts as political ammunition, often with zero regard for the real victims, focusing only on destroying opponents. Many of the viral allegations against Erika Kirk, for example, trace back to accounts that exist solely to run political hit pieces. Crockett's intervention, calling out these practices and urging people to rely on verified evidence, struck a chord online. TikTok users responded with relief, some saying, "Finally, someone said it," highlighting just how rampant and reckless the casual dropping of Epstein's name has become in political warfare. Many online voices sided with Crockett, saying things like, "Those victims deserve better than being used for clout," and "show the receipts or stop destroying lives with baseless accusations." But, as always, there were pushbacks. Thousands rallied behind comments claiming, "If there's smoke, there's fire," reflecting the impatience for instant justice without proper investigation. One particularly poignant response came from someone whose cousin was a victim in a different trafficking case, lamenting that using these crimes as political ammunition is morally sickening and not a game. Digging deeper, we discovered that in the weeks before allegations against Erika Kirk went viral, at least 5 other political figures faced similar coordinated attacks, patterns clearly designed to fabricate Epstein links without evidence. These campaigns often originate from anonymous accounts created solely to post, spread, and vanish after their content goes viral, leaving a trail of misinformation. Legitimate anti-trafficking organizations have spoken out, warning that false claims undermine their work by making the public skeptical of genuine survivors, with one director noting that every fabricated accusation becomes defense fodder in real cases. Amid all this chaos, it's crucial to separate the facts in the authentic leaked documents from the viral spin, understanding what these records truly reveal versus the politically charged narratives being propagated. The unsealed Epstein court documents are massive, thousands of pages filled with depositions, flight logs, and testimonies. Legal experts who've gone through them confirm that while some high-profile figures are implicated in knowing about or participating in illegal activity, countless names appear for completely innocent reasons. Flight logs, for example, list people traveling for legitimate business or charity work long before Epstein's crimes were known. Depositions mention attendees at parties or events, but simply being at the same event as a criminal does not make someone guilty. As for the supposed documents linking Erika Kirk, exhaustive searches through court databases and unsealed filings turned up nothing. Zero evidence. Jasmine Crockett has made it clear she won't back down, calling for evidence-based accusations, better media literacy, and for platforms to confront coordinated misinformation campaigns. Unfortunately, once false accusations go viral, people like Kirk often face lasting fallout, highlighting the dark side of social media justice. The Epstein case itself was real, the crimes horrific, and the victims deserve accountability. But weaponizing that tragedy to destroy lives without proof isn't justice, it's chaos. One commenter summed it up perfectly. You can ruin someone's life with a tweet, but correcting the lie barely reaches anyone. Others applauded Crockett, saying, "Demanding proof before joining the bandwagon is what more politicians should do." Meanwhile, the real criminals continue to slip through the cracks while the public gets distracted by false allegations, a stark reminder of how careful we must be with what we consume and share online.